Selena Gomez! Oh, I absolutely love to see. I love that. I need to have a listen to Kia ora and welcome. My name's Zoe Stevie and I'm your vocal coach for today because we're going to be taking a look at Selena Gomez with Lose You to Love Me. Look at her now from 2019. She's an incredible singer and I cannot wait to take a look at what is she up to with her vocal technique. How is she creating these insane sounds? And most importantly, how can you create them? So if you want to learn more about vocal technique and how you can sing like your favorite artists because they've had a lot of training and you need some training, hit that subscribe button. That sounds kind of mean. But anyway, we all need to practice. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you around here more often. Let's go to Selena.
Selena Gomez.
You promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Set fire to my forest and I let it burn. Sang off key on my chorus, cause it wasn't yours.
I love this song. A couple of my students have sung, actually quite a few of my students because it's such a jam. So I got thinner vocal folds with a little bit of breath coming in there. The trick when we're singing with breath is we want to keep the volume relatively low. You can see she's very close to the microphone. Let's just go back on that so that we can really notice what's going on with her breath.
You promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Set fire to my forest and I let it burn.
She is a singer with a huge amount of experience, but we can still hear a little bit of insecurity, not insecurity. I don't know Selena, so it might be insecurity. Could be a little bit of nerves. Could be anything. Could be due to a fleck of dust flying around in the air. We shall never know because this was also a wee while ago. But we've got that for it. You can hear she was trying to go on with the glottal onset, and there was a little bit of kind of broke away. That's what happens when we push too much air or too much effort behind a glottal onset. It actually does the opposite of what we want it to do, where we really want it to close the vocal folds and it forces them open again.
I put you first and you adored it. Set fire to my forest and I let it burn. Sang off key on my chorus, cause it wasn't yours.
And then obviously because she's the ultimate professional, she then set fire to my forest. I think she was in falsetto there where we actually got stiff vocal folds because you can hear that kind of hooty texture. Set fire to my forest and the increase in the breath flow, but I let it burn. And she captured it, then got better control over the vocal folds. I'm not saying that falsetto is not good control over the vocal folds. Sometimes though, when we're going for a thinner vocal fold with breath, falsetto might be the outcome when we get a little bit nervous. The heart rate is going. She's opening the whole show. Like the stakes are high.
I saw the signs and I ignored it. Rose-colored glasses are distorted. Set fire to my purpose and I let it burn. You got off on the hurting when it wasn't yours. Yeah.
Again, so I think that was very much in a falsetto sound there. Now falsetto, as I said, is when the vocal folds are actually stiff. So we're hearing very little vocal fold contact. And that's because there is just a tiny amount touching at the front of the vocal. We've got no core to the sound. Now, what does end up happening is when we're trying to gain volume on the sound, it doesn't work in falsetto.
When it wasn't yours. Yeah, we'd always go into it blindly. I needed to lose you to find me. This dancer was killing me softly. I needed to hate you to love me. To love you. To love you. To love you. I needed to lose you to love me.
Okay. in no way, shape or form a doctor, but you can hear a little bit of crackle going on at the start of those phrases. This could be due to so many different things, but perhaps, this can come in due to nerves. This could also come in due to, maybe she had a cold a couple of weeks before this performance and the vocal folds were just, a little bit worn out. Maybe she's done lots of interviews on that day. We don't know why this is happening. But what we do is we make the most of it, no matter what the voice is actually coming up with. This is why we want to get better with vocal technique, so that we can manage our expectations of our voice and make those changes appropriately, which is exactly what she's doing with her vocal technique. So rather than focusing on that little bit of catch, let's see what she's doing with that catch in order to not make it obvious to a non-vocal coach.
I needed to hate you to love me, to love you, to love you, to love you. I needed to lose you to love me, to love.
So I needed to lose you to love me. That amount of breath coming through the sound lower in the range is actually very challenging. She's bringing the lips forward in order to darken the sound. It also helps to create a slightly smaller aperture in the mouth to help with the back pressure to close the vocal folds.
Needed to lose you to love me. You promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored. Set fire to my voice and I let it burn. Sang off key on my chorus. To love you, to love you, to love you. I needed to hate you to love me.
Okay, now someone is doubling her vocals there. So let's just go back on that. When she's singing that second, it's not really the second verse, but like the second section to the song there, we can see she's gone with a much smaller sound, less breath. That's going to help with better vocal fold contact.
I put you first and you adored. Set fire to my voice and I let it burn. Sang off key on my chorus.
So she's sang off key in the chorus. She's come right back off the volume. A little bit less air, actually, because air, especially when we're struggling anywhere with vocal fold contact, and again, I'm not saying that Selena's struggling with vocal fold contact, okay? Actually, that was the wrong word to use. But especially when we are wanting that breathy sound, and maybe breath is disrupting the sound more than we wanted, to pull back on the breath, pull back on the volume is going to then help to manage the pitch as well.
I needed to hate you to love me. To love you, to love you, to love you. I needed to lose you to love me. To love you, to love you, to love you. And now the chapter is closed and gone. To love you, to love you, to love you. And now it's goodbye for us.
So let's go, it's goodbye, bye, bye, da, da, da. So we've got that same vocal fold quality. She's got the mic very close to her mouth in that moment. You can also notice, though, that the mouth is not very wide while she's singing. And that's because when we're in a falsetto quality, we actually want to keep the aperture of the mouth rather small, especially in the lower section of the range. Because if we open up the mouth wider onto more of an open vowel, that is going to change the aerodynamic flow on the vocal folds, and it just doesn't help us in those stiffer vocal folds. So to love, yeah, to love, keep that economy going on here in the mouth. But if we still want to be understood, we're wanting to make sure that we're building up the muscles of the lips, of the cheek, of the whole vocal apparatus, because this is where we still get good vocal, like not good vocal fold closure, but this is where we still work on our pitching. This is where we get making sure that people can understand what we're saying. This is how we get stability in the sound, not just by practicing endless scales on this particular vocal quality. And that's exactly why I have an entire training system for you to work on your articulation for you available in the description below. Absolutely all of my students have said to me, oh my God, Zoe, I didn't know that it was possible to sing with even more stability after going through this training system. So I've got it for you down in the description below. Check it out.
They fell in love one summer, a little too wild for each other. Shiny till it wasn't, feels good till it doesn't. It was the first real lover, his due till he had another. Oh God, she found out, trust levels went way down. Of course she was sad, but now she's glad she dodged a bullet. Took a few years to soak up the tears, but look at her now, watch it go. Look at her now.
I think I've actually heard this song. It's a real jam. Very similar in the vocal quality. Yeah, so basically this type of singing was coined whisper singing a few years ago. It really started with Justin Bieber coming out with, I think it was Sorry, this sort of this idea of this very, very breathy, whispery kind of sound. So it has been around for a long time. It's actually extremely difficult in terms of pitching and vocal fold closure, because basically to sing like this for a long period of time, it's actually extremely difficult to pitch.
They fell in love one summer, a little too wild for each other. Shiny till it wasn't, feels good till it doesn't. It was the first real lover, his due till he had another. Oh God, she found out, trust levels went way down. Of course she was sad, but now she's glad she...
Okay, so we can hear obviously the vocals are being doubled there because this is a track. So let's just go back. As I said, I've never heard this song before, but what we've got is very, very like low volume, because we can hear that slack vocal fold onset. Feels good, but so in order to create that slack vocal fold onset, which is where we create, it's the slowest movement of the vocal folds. We need very, very low pressure of the air and really low volume. So that's quite, blanket across this sort of section, but we can hear every single word that she's saying due to those articulation muscles being so strong.
His due till he had another. Oh God, she found out, trust levels went way down. Of course she was sad, but now she's glad she dodged a bullet. Took a few years to soak up the tears, but look at her now, watch it go. Look at her now, watch it go. Look at her now. Look at her now, watch it go. She knows she'll find love, only if she wants it. She knows she'll find love. She knows she'll find love, only if she wants it. She knows she'll find love, only up from the way down. Look at her now.
Oh, I absolutely love to see other artists supporting their friends. It's so, so important that we go to each other's gigs, that we support each other, that we show up for each other. Because, look, Selena Gomez is not at the beginning of her career, but I cannot implore you enough to go out and support your friends when they've got performances. Because right at the beginning, and actually, you know what? At every single stage of our career, we need people in our corner for us. So I absolutely love to see that, standing up and dancing, being, some of the loudest ones there. That's what we want. So we go, We've still got a bit of a falsetto sound. Actually, we're not hearing a lot of a lot of chord closure coming in there. So we got those little glottal onsets at the beginning, but again, allowing quite a lot of breath to come through the sound.
Only if she wants it, she knows. Look at her now. What you
So when she does that, she knows that she will. That is the full vocal fold closure. We're noticing a massive increase in volume. She's moved the microphone further away. She's got no breath going on in the sound. Increase in the thyroid tone. She knows that she will. And those little kind of like throwaway sentences there, we could call them ad-libs as well. This is what generally comes in at the end of the song. So we are starting to, well, it sounds like we're improvising at the end as the track kind of continues going. Now, this is, okay, I do not know if Selena Gomez had a cold in this situation. I'm not even going to speculate, but I do have students that perform when their voices are not feeling 100%. Come on, we've all performed when our voices are not feeling 100%. And so regardless of what's going on with Selena, this is a perfect example of managing a voice that's maybe not sitting the way that you really want. Because at the end, she's using those moments to then do some slightly louder vocalizations, which maybe are requiring loads of effort at the end. But this is a one moment in time kind of situation. She's singing for that one song in this entire event. So you can afford to then at the very end to go like, do you know what? Spaghetti at the wall. I'm just going to go, she knows that she will, even though it might be scratching a little bit, even though it might be feeling slightly uncomfortable in the throat. As I say, I'm not saying this about Selena Gomez. I actually do not know what is going on in this performance. She sounds beautiful. She might even be 100% healthy, and this is exactly what she intended her sound to be like. But what also can happen is when we're maybe not feeling like low energy or whatever, this is a perfect example of going and giving us lots of energy, giving us like lots of the emotion in the song, but holding back a little bit vocally. We don't always need to let our audience know what's actually going on inside our bodies. And this would be a huge difference between singing for 1.5 to 2 hours, or sometimes actually in Taylor Swift's case, like 3-hour performances. Is a huge difference to doing that as opposed to just singing for 4 minutes and 20 seconds that she's sang for like 3 minutes of it. So it's about really seeing what you're able to do and making the most of that throughout the performance. But I love that. I need to have a listen to She knows that she will. Very cool song in order to be able to hold back the breath, practicing that falsetto, practicing that lower volume. I do want to say if you are practicing though with a falsetto or you want to be singing in this slightly more sort of whispered style, then I would recommend that you get yourself a microphone. I have some recommendations down in the description below. Just in a Shure SM58 is literally like bog standard for the industry, and you need to make sure that you're practicing with a microphone. Otherwise, the tendency is to push the sound out of tune. So, Selena Gomez. Okay, I suppose, wanting slightly more vocal fireworks. We know that she's capable of doing some incredible things with her voice, but that's not what performances are all about. It's not always about doing crazy things with your voice. It's sometimes about performing and holding back the voice so it leaves us wanting more. Check out some more Selena up here. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to be able to hit the stage like Selena Gomez and have this amount of control, no matter what your voice is doing, then you need to get into one-to-one singing lessons. And that is exactly why my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, is accepting new students. We would love to see you to help you gain stability in your voice. Check out the link in the description below so that we can talk all about your vocal growth strategy. We're here to help you. Mwah! Have an awesome rest today. Happy singing. Ka kite anō.